Good morning, students. Good morning to all. And last day we have studied about the profit and some of the theories of profit. So today also just we will remind what we have studied on yesterday and we will go to the next lessons. Yesterday we have studied some of the four types of theories of profit. So on the basis of theories of profit, first one of the theory is dynamic theory of profit. So on the basis of dynamic theory of profit, the profit is derived on the basis of the dynamic changes in the societies. So in the static societies, there is no change in their living standard and the lifestyle of the consumers and their production capacity and the productions method. So the old productions method and their classical method of living style only followed by the peoples. So when they are being like that, there is no need of having the profit because the entrepreneurs will not able to bringing any of the innovations in their production method and their production unit. But in the society, some of the changes are available in the time of circulations. The people always want to consuming the different type of the commodities, and because of that the entrepreneur also can able to bring the more innovations idea in this production unit and the productions method, and because of that the employment opportunity also will be created. So the entrepreneur also will have the chance to increasing their production unit and the different kinds of the commodities, and because of that the entrepreneurs can have the chance to earning more profit. So if the changes are not having any of the dynamic changes, there is no chance. But if the societies are having the dynamic changes on the basis of course of time, so the entrepreneurs have the possible to earning the profit. Next, innovation theory of profit. On the basis of the innovations theory, the entrepreneur, the good entrepreneur must bring some of the innovations on the existing commodities, because the people always will not having the same interest to consuming the same type of commodities or same kind of commodities. So the people always want to consume the different type of the commodities. So if the entrepreneurs having the power to bringing the innovate on any of the commodities or any of the production unit or the production method, so they can easily adapted or occupy the markets. So on the basis of the innovations theory of profit, the entrepreneur can have the chance to earning the profit only by the way of bringing the innovations on any of the commodities or existing commodities. Next, risk bearing theory of profit. Risk bearing theory of profit means one of the objectives or one of the features or character of the entrepreneur is bearing the risk of losses. So we will never know about the futures, and all the type of the organizations are having in the subject to involve the risks, different type of the risk means the theft, fire or accident or damage due to reason of commodities and etc. But without having any of the worry and trouble, if the entrepreneurs are taking the effort to bring the innovations and taking the risks in the business organizations, he will get the possible to earning the profit. Next, uncertainty bearing theory of profit. On the basis of uncertainty bearing theory of profit, some of the uncertainty problems or uncertainty risk will be available. Some of the risks can easily compensate by the insurance or insurance companies. So this type of risks are called as a insurable risks. But some of the risks are unable to compensate by any of the insurance companies. some of the natural disasters and the public policies and the government policies also called as a insurable risks. But even though the entrepreneurs are taking the risks, are bearing the capacity to overcome the insurable risks, he can possible to earning the more profit. Okay students, then yesterday itself our chapter 6 has completed, and today just we will go to the chapter 7. So chapter 7 is Indian economy. So in these lessons we will study about the current status of the Indian economy in terms of the features and the natural resources and the infrastructure facilities and some etc. So and we will understand the contribution of major Indian economic thinkers. Different type of the economic thinkers was there, but how they distributed their things and the development of economy. So first we will study about the meaning of growth and development. Meaning of growth and development of economy. What is the meaning of the growth of economy? What is the meaning of development of economy? We must know about the difference between the growth and the development of economy. First, if you are considering the growth, a country's economic growth is usually measured by the national income. It is usually measured by the national income, indicated by gross domestic product. So what's the meaning of gross domestic product mean? The gross domestic product is the total monetary value of the goods and services produced by that country over a specific period of time. That specific period of time normally considered as 1 year. Within a 1 year, one nations how much of income earned by their produced product and their monetary value of the goods and services. Every nations are producing the different type of the goods and services in a year. But in a year, how one nations or how much the value of one nations are there is considered as a growth. Suppose if a nations are having the more gross domestic product or high value of the gross domestic product, we can consider the growth of economy is increase. So every year our national income is increasing. That is means the growth of economy is increased. Our economy is growing every year. Next, the development. The level of economic development is indicated not just by the gross domestic product, but by an increase in citizens' quality of life or well-being. The quality of life is being assessed by several indicators such as the Human Development Index, Physical Quality Life of Index, and Gross National Happiness Index. So along with the growth of the country, one nations must have increased their quality or the life of the citizens. So along with the growth of the nations must has increase in citizens' quality of life or well-being. Even some of the nations are earning more gross domestic product or more national income. Their peoples are being as a poor or in a poverty. So along with the growth of nations, one of the nation's citizens are having the high quality life or the well-being. It is considered as the development. Then you can say what is the meaning of quality of life. How can we measuring the quality of life? For calculating the quality of life, several type of the index are there. So the human development index. So the development index is one of the index number measured by the numerical or the statistical method. So if a nation's human development index and the physical quality of life index and the national happiness index are highly, we can say the nations are having the growth with development. So all the nations must be want to have the growth with development. So without development, if you are growing every year, it is not much better. Simply, if you want to understand the growth and development, so every year, if you are growing in your physically, that is called maybe growth. But whenever you are growing per every year, and the way along with your physical growing, if your attitude, if your education, if your mentality and attitude, everything is increased, that is called growth with development. So on the basis of the level of economic development, nations are classified as a developed nations and developing nations and underdeveloped nations. So what are the indicators are there in these developed nations means? In these developed nations, the industrial sector or the industrialized peoples are industrialized or will be very efficiently. On the other hand, the countries which have not fully utilized their resources like land, mines, workers, etc. One of the developed nations always using their all type of the resources, the happiness resources and the workers and all the factor of productions also used by optimum. Example for some of the underdeveloped countries are Sub-Saharan Africa, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Pakistan, Indonesia, etc. also considered as a underdeveloped countries. So the features of underdeveloped countries is always involved in these primary sectors, and there is absence of industrializations, and the living standard of the peoples also very low. So we can easily understand the difference between the developed nations and the developing nations. The next we will study about the features of Indian economy. So Indian economy is the seventh largest economy of the world. When we are comparing with the world, other nations, so India economy is in the seventh largest economy. So and not only that, the India is being on one of the top listed countries. So in terms of industrializations and economic growth, India holds a robust position with an average growth rate of 70% in this world economy. So even though the rate of growth has been sustainable and comparatively stable, there are still signs of backwardness. But when we are talking about the features of Indian economy or the growth of Indian economy, we have the sustainable and comparatively stable growth rate. But even though we have in the backwardness of our economy. So the diametrically opposite features of Indian economy are discussed about the below. First one is the India has a mixed economy. If you are studying the features of Indian economy, some of the features are there. So first one is India has a mixed economy. So the Indian economy is a typical example of mixed economy. For the best example of mixed economy, we will say India. So if mixed economy mean the private sector and the public sector also existing together. So our Indian economy also depending upon the both private and public sector. So normally nowadays most of the sectors also occupied by the privates, except some of the dominant positions. So this means both private and public sector coexist and function smoothly. On one side, some of the fundamental and heavy industrial units are being operated under the public sector. Due to the liberalization of the economy, the private sector has gained importance. This makes it a perfect model for public-private partnership. Next, agricultural plays a key role in India. Agricultural plays a key role. So, the agriculture being the maximum pursued occupation in India, it plays an important role in the economy as well. Around 60% of the people in India depend upon the agriculture for their livelihood. So mostly the rural peoples are involved in this agricultural only, and they are producing abundantly or considerably produced, and the raw material of the industrializations also going from the agricultural field only. So nearby the 17 percentage or 18 percentage of raw material for the industrializations are going from the agricultural sector only. In fact, about 17 percentage of our GDP today is contributed by the agricultural sector. When we are calculating the GDP level, the 70 percentage of the GDP is coming from the agricultural sector only. So green revolution, evergreen revolutions and invention in the biotechnology have made agricultural self-sufficient and surplus productions. So before the introduction of or before the implementation of green revolutions and the evergreen revolutions, some of the invention in the biotechnology. So there is no productions in this agriculture. But after introduction these all, so our agriculturists are producing abundant product, and our India also made as a self-sufficient and surplus production in the agriculture. So the export of agricultural products such as fruits, vegetables, spices, vegetables oil, tobacco, animal skins, etc. also add to forex earning through the international trading, because the demand for the tobacco and vegetables and mostly the spices and animal skins also exported from the India only. So these all occupations are related to the agro-based industries only. Next, an emerging markets. So India has emerged as a vibrant economy, sustaining stable growth rate even in the midst of global downwards. So even the peoples and our economy is going downwards because of the emerging market. So we are having the most important place in this market. This has attracted significant foreign capital through foreign direct investment and foreign investment in India. So normally our India has the possibles to adopted or attracted the foreign direct investments. So India has a high potential for prospective growth. This also makes it an emerging market for the world. So India is considered as a world market. India has the most appropriate place to selling all the commodities produced by international levels. Next, emerging economy. The emerging is a top economy giant among the world economy. India backs the seventh position in terms of nominal gross domestic product and third in terms of purchasing power parity. Purchasing power parity means the people's purchasing the power. If the peoples on any of the nations have more purchasing power, it is considered as the good emerging economy. As a result of rapid economic growth, Indian economy has a place among the G20 countries. So G20 countries means on the global level, some of the top economic nations are joined together and they will made one of the conference about the world economy. So because of the high Indian economy growth, so India also got one of the place in G20 countries. Next, fast growing economy. So India's economy is well known for high and sustained growth. So if we are made a growth is not this very easy, and it is not this also difficult. But if you are maintaining the sustainable growth is some difficult. But in Indian economy is well known as for a sustained growth. It has emerged as the world's fastest growing economy in the year 2016 and 17 with a growth rate of 7.1% in GDP. So next to People's Republic of China. So after the next place of China, the India only has the good position in fast growing economy. Next, large domestic consumption. So with the faster growth rate in the economy, the standard of living has improved a lot. So this is turn has resulted in rapid increase in domestic consumption in the country. So the domestic consumption is increased only by the living standard of the people. Otherwise, the living standard of the people only can increase by the way of increasing the market of the domestic countries. But when it is possible, mean the large domestic consumptions will be increased only by the high demanded product, or the standard of living has considerably improved and lifestyle has changed. Next, fast growing service sector. So the service sector, so we have three sectors: primary sector, industrial sector and the service sectors. But the service sector contributes a lion's share of the gross domestic product in India. There has been a high rise growth in the technical sectors like information technology and the business process outsourcing, etc. So nowadays our information technology and the business process outsourcing sectors also increased very fast, and the contributes also providing like a lion's share. These sectors have contributed to the growth of the economy. These emerging service sectors have helped the country go global and helped in spreading its branches around the world. Next, rapid growth of urban areas. So urbanization is a key ingredient of the growth of any economy, because normally the human resource is very much important to increasing the supply of commodity and the production process. But most of the peoples are coming from the rural to urbanizations. It will also increasing the production capacity and the productivity power of the workers. There has been a rapid growth of urban areas in India after independence. So improved connectivity in transport and communications, educations and health have speed up the space of urbanizations. So how the urbanization was increased means by the way of increasing the connectivity in transport and communications and educations. Now most of the rural peoples or the students of rural people also coming to the urbanizations, and they can have the more education facilities and educational knowledge, and the transport also will have more abundant and the high facility transport. So because of that the rapid growth of urban areas also increase. Next, stable macro economy. The Indian economy has been projected and considered as one of the most stable economies of the world. The current year's economic survey represents the Indian economy to be a haven of macroeconomic stability, resilience, and optimism. So, our economic policies implemented by the governments as the role model of other developing countries. So, according to the economic survey for the year 2014 and 15, 80% and plus gross domestic product growth rate has been predicted, with actual growth turning out to be a little less 7.6%. This is a clear indication of a stable macroeconomic growth. Next, the demographic dividend. So, the human capital of India is young. This means that India is a proud owner of the maximum percentage of youth. The young population is not only motivated but skilled and trained enough to maximize the growth. Thus, human capital plays a key role in maximizing the growth prospects in the country. Also, this has invited foreign investment to the country and outsourcing opportunities. So, when we are comparing to the other nations, the resources of the young peoples are very high in India, and because of that only the foreign direct investments are increasing, and not only the number of youngers are increased, but the increased number of youngers also have the powers and they are motivated and skilled and trained enough to maximize the growth. Okay students, today I think it's enough. So we have the 10 features of Indian economy. If you have any doubt, please ask me, and just to take the features of Indian economy as your study portions. Thank you.